What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. It is kind of a transfer view to do with the transfer of the club. That's what's happening. Let's just get straight into it. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. This was supposed to be the Flexing KG show at 6 p.m. We had to move it back. We had to move it back because there has been breaking news within the last hour about Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his potential interest or bid for Manchester United. This is the first person / company / consortium / whatever you want to stick their head above the pulpit and say, we want this club. This is going to be a great show. Owen, let's just get straight into it. What has happened, bro? What has happened?
News so big that possibly it actually has broken the internet, because I don't know what's been going on the last few minutes or so. Like, our internet crashed. Then we got messages from Josh, who's not even here, who went, what's going on with the internet or whatever? I think Man United have broken the internet quite literally. Let's get straight into this. This comes from the Times. This comes specifically from Matt Dickinson from the Times, who says that INEOS have entered the bidding process to purchase Manchester United. Now, bids are expected from the United States, the Middle East, and Asia, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the first to publicly confirm his interest. Now, this interest has been put on the record by a spokesperson for INEOS who has said, and I quote, "We have formally put ourselves into the process, that process being to purchase Manchester United." Now, for those that might think, hey, is that a bit of a misquote? That is not a misquote, because Shamoun Hafez, who is a writer for BBC Sports, has indeed confirmed. He says, quote, "I am told by an INEOS spokesperson, can confirm the article in the Times by Matt Dickinson is true. And the statement is correct that we have formally put ourselves into the process." So it's not even a misprint or anything like that. It's been confirmed twice. They're the first people to put themselves formally on record in the process that they're going to be looking to place a bid for Manchester United. Now, if you're getting excited about, is this going to happen really quickly? Hold your horses a little bit, because according to the article, at this stage, parties have to sign up to see confidential financial documents and commit to undertaking due diligence before a possible takeover. Formal bids for Manchester United are expected to start next month. So this isn't an actual bid or anything like that. This is just a declaration of interest via Sir Jim Ratcliffe, via INEOS. In terms of a price point, according to the Times, the speculation is that the Glazers hope for more than £5 billion for Manchester United. A full sale, this is key, a full sale is thought to be the most likely. So any discussion of a partial sale, any discussion of minority ownership, minority investment off the table, a full sale is thought to be most likely, with the Glazers hoping that the club's recent resurgence under manager Erik ten Hag will help drive up the price over the coming months. But the key thing there, Flex, is that we now have an official name. Someone has finally put themselves officially in the running to purchase Manchester United. It is INEOS. It is Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the Manchester United fan. The name, actually, who put himself out there earlier this year as, I'd love to purchase the club, but the club's not for sale. The club is for sale right now, and he's the first person to enter a race. But it must be stressed, he is not the only person that is expected to throw his hat into the ring. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Let the bidding wars commence. That is what it is. Let the people who are serious about buying Manchester United start that process. Let the people who want to buy Manchester United start making it known. That is what's happening. Obviously, this goes in time with what the Glazers have said and what the club have said about the process has begun. First of all, you need the club to say, we are for sale, invite the offers in. Then everybody does a little bit of due diligence and works out, are they interested? And then they go, right, officially, we are interested. And I think one of the most important things there as well, we'll talk about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but a snowball effect, a domino effect can happen now. That's just the first one. He's just the first one to say, I'm interested. You know, you're in an auction room, you can get a car. Yep, interested. Oh, over there on the left. Yep, over there on the right. Yep. In layman's terms, that's what's happening here. It's not a bid yet, so that is true. It's not a bid yet, but I'll be honest. I thought the Sir Jim Ratcliffe thing was kind of just fizzled out. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really think about it. I don't know, because do you know what it is? It's probably my own kind of thinking, because we've heard so much about Middle East. We've heard so much about Saudi Arabia or Qataris and possibly Americans again. Dubai, do you know what I mean? The people who own PSG. Sir Jim Ratcliffe just exited my mind for a little bit, because he was like, what's the other geezer who was talking about it as well? What's his name again? Oh, you got a good memory. The guy right at the beginning. when he was basically saying, "I just wanted to get people going." Oh, what's his name? It
I
weren't
forget, but he was never. But he was basically. It was one of those ones where he was never. I'm going to get my consortium together. You don't have a consortium.
Michael. There you go, Michael
Michael
Knighton. There
Knighton.
you go.
That's the
Well
one.
done,
Yeah.
Lux Hill.
Well
Well
done,
done,
Lux
Lux
Hill.
Hill.
Big up Lux Hill.
It was so long ago, I forgot even was. But it was in that little bracket first. Then obviously it got a bit more serious with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and then it kind of just went quiet. And I think after the World Cup, with it being in the Middle East and stuff like that, you then got all of that. So, but this is a significant step, though, guys, because the reason why it's significant is because up until now, we haven't had a spokesperson from INEOS actually confirm that, to say that, what's the line, Owen? What's the actual line?
The line is, we have formally put ourselves into the process.
Well, we've put ourselves into the process, you know what I mean? So at this stage, parties have to sign up to see confidential financial documents and commit to undertaking due diligence before a possible takeover. Formal bids are expected to start next month. So this is very much the beginning stages of it.
And that's what people don't understand with all of this kind of stuff. And it's really important to point out there, because actually I'm living this existence on two fronts right now, Flex. One with Manchester United, but the other thing's actually the exact same thing's happening with the WWE right now. And it's actually the Rain Group. It's the Rain Group doing it. So I'm experiencing this twice. And basically what it is that when a club announces, like they've done in these two situations, that they're exploring strategic alternatives, I think as fans, we just think transaction, bid on the table. Do you accept it? Yes. It gets done fairly quickly. And it doesn't. You get into this weird phase like now where INEOS have to, again, we're formally entering ourselves into this process, and the Glazers and Man United go, okay, here's the financial situation of the club. Have a look at it. So you're happy to put your bid on the table. All of the lawyers get involved. Again, the Rain Group are leading this on behalf of the Glazers. The Glazers have their own counsel that's guiding them through this. So you don't even officially put a bid on the table for another month and a bit. So an actual takeover after all bids have been put in place. Remember, there's probably going to be a deadline for some of these bids as well. Once the deadline's passed for the bids, then it's up to the Glazers and the Rain Group and all their financial advisors to go, okay, which one offers the most? And do we want to go back to this party because we like this party? Do we want to ask up for a bit more? Or do we want to negotiate? Or do we want to eliminate a couple? It still isn't going to happen for a while. But to your point, and I guess the key point is now this is the beginning. It's going to be interesting to see what is the reaction from other interested parties. Are they also going to
they got to get going? They got to get cracking now, because if you're serious about buying Man United, the first person to get in there, I'm not going to profess I know exactly how these things go. We're not football analysts, we're football fans. So all we can do is dissect the information that is put out there by the media and have a discussion about it. But in my opinion, that's if you're involved if you're umming and ahhing and thinking, right, when are we going to do it? When we're going to pull the trigger on letting it be known, and somebody else does it, you got to start going, right, flipping heck, mate. We need to be ready. We need to start going. We can't let them get far in negotiations and get in the door and make things happen without us. Because for me, you can say, well, how long do you leave that? When do you strike? Because if you leave it too long, they might strike a deal. You could say leave it and then we'll jump in at the last minute, bit of bargaining. I get that, but at the end of the day, there's got to be a point where you start going, because we're in January, and the club needs to be sold. The reports are saying by like April times during the first quarter, they're looking for a full sale. So what I'm saying is that domino effect will cause others to go, we're interested as well.
I have a question. I have a question for you. And you have to sit back and ask yourself, why are they the first to put their names out there? And it may actually be because they are not the favorites and they're perceived not to be the favorites. If you're competing with the likes of a Middle Eastern sort of state-backed bid, i.e. like a Dubai, you ain't going to be able to compete. Now, what they may think, and this is just speculation on my part, what INEOS and Sir Jim Ratcliffe may think, hey, if we put our names out there early, if we get fan support on our side and we say, hey, we might not be able to compete financially with maybe some of these Middle Eastern consortiums or these Middle Eastern bids, but if we've got the fan support, then maybe it will force the Glazers to consider us more than maybe they would have previously. Not that the Glazers even give a damn about the fans or anything like that. But the point being is it might be a bit more strategic than meets the eye. It might be a bit more than just we're entering ourselves in the process. It might be a case of let's get everyone excited. Let's get the fans. Because it's interesting because the polls in the chat right now, right? Already, we've nearly had 800 votes on this. This poll went up before we even went live, saying, are INEOS / Sir Jim Ratcliffe your preferred Manchester United bidders? only 55% say yes. So the majority says yes, but only because there's a lot of diversity in the preference in terms of who you would want to take Manchester United over. And again, maybe they might just think we might not be the favourites in terms of finances, but where we can win is the court of public opinion, and maybe that might just sort of take us up the pecking order a few.
Well,
notches.
when the Sir Jim Ratcliffe thing first came about, obviously it was music to all of it. This was before the Glazers had even come out and said, because let's cast our mind back, right, to the timeline of events. Before the Glazers even come out and made that statement of a full or partial sale or an investor or whatever it was, when basically that they're up for selling the club. Before they even did that, so this Sir Jim Ratcliffe thing happened already, didn't it? With the Michael Knighton kind of igniting it. And then Sir Jim Ratcliffe was like, well, there needs to be igniting it, you know. There you go. Awful, but good. With him doing that and then kind of taking a back seat, and then Sir Jim Ratcliffe kind of saying, well, you know, there has to be a selling club first, you know. And then the Glazers come out and say it's for sale. It literally, the club actually is for sale in as many words.
Well, strategic alternatives.
Sale. Yeah, full or partial sale or investors, whatever. But like we're known, for them to say the word sale means they're open to it, which we know they are. And then we get to now where Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the first to do it. But when it first come about, I think the idea of him being a Manchester United fan, lifelong, etc., knows the club, we liked it. We liked that. And I don't want to speak for everyone, but
he was that was savior.
My feeling.
Figure.
Right. That was my feeling at the time. It was like, okay, everybody's kind of, because we just couldn't believe that this was a thing, that actually the club could be sold. This was before it even got officially up for sale. It was like, there's a guy who actually supports Man United who proved that he was serious because he tried to buy Chelsea. Yeah, so we know he's got peas. He loves the club. He literally loves the club. Yeah. And then now we've gone to this stage where it's like we've known the club's for sale and he's the first person. Then you're going, like saying it's only 54%. You're going, what type of owners do we want? We need money. We need serious money. You know, the conversation could then turn to, you know, how much does he have? I think this part of the conversation, as it's so early because the bid hasn't gone in yet, this conversation, I think, is more about the significance of somebody entering the race officially. Do you know what I mean? I think as more come, then we can go, well, Sir Jim Ratcliffe versus Qatar versus Saudi Arabia versus America again versus, you know, Dubai or whatever. I feel like those comparisons will come. But it's interesting to get people's initial thoughts on one, which is what I'm asking you guys to put in the comments. Me and Owen will discuss this. This is back to you, Owen. One, initial thoughts on the fact that he's the first person, like you said, to go, right, we're in for it. And two, what do you make of him? You know, what you know, is he a United fan? How do you feel about, is he a United fan? This is what we want versus we need to make sure the infrastructure's there and he has actually got a lot of peas.
My feeling is, and I said this before, that he was the people's choice, or largely the fans' choice, when he was the only choice. So when it came out in the summer, that he said, I'd love to purchase United. They're not for sale. Or I've had conversations with Joel and Abraham. They're lovely people, but they're not for sale right. But everyone went, oh, that's great, because again, we'd never even got this far. I mean, there'd been the Red Knights back in 2010, something like that, but never to sort of this extent of and so I think everyone sort of latched onto that and said, yes, Sir Jim, he's the guy. But then once the club is really, like you said, officially put up for sale, and you then start exploring the other options, you start going,
Exactly.
what about the other options? Was he the preferred choice because he was the only choice at the time, or was it because all of those things were in his favor? Like you said, because he was a Manchester United fan, because he does have the capabilities to stump up the cash to purchase the club. He did put in a bid for Chelsea. It was too late. It was way past the deadline. He did that interview with, I think it was it Sky or BBC, whatever it was. And they said, why are you trying to buy Chelsea, not Man United? And he said, well, Chelsea are up for sale, Manchester United aren't. And everyone thought at the time he was playing this 4D chess, because it was more of a statement of intent that he did have the money if the Glazers ever changed their mind, that he could purchase the club in the future. Whereas now, as I've said before, and I don't move away from this, It's not about money. It's about strategy when it comes to Manchester United. The perfect example is Todd Boehly at the moment at Chelsea, because he got a lot of money. They're spending a lot of money. Their strategy is nil point at the moment. Their strategy is rubbish because they're 10th. Now, in the future, it might work out for them.
The
but
long term might be fine, yeah.
We could have someone come in and purchase Manchester United that is wealthier than any other football club in the world. We can go, look at us. But if our strategy is not any good, it doesn't matter. We have spent money in the past on players, buying players left, right, and centre because they're a name, and it's done nothing for us. It needs to be strategy. It needs to be long-term, and the strategy has to be so good that we can catch up to Manchester City, who have like over a decade's head start on us, and somehow we have to try and surpass them, whilst during this period of time, they're still going to be investing. They're not going to do an us when they don't invest for like 15 years. So that strategy's got to be really, really, really sound. It obviously is partially about money. You've got to have the money to spend, but got to know how to spend it. And that would be my thing about Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Does he know how to spend the resources available to him, or all of the money he has? Because rightfully so, people look at other footballing projects he's involved in, i.e. Nice in France. They ain't all that. And they buy some really random players as well. Aaron Ramsey plays there, and Kasper Schmeichel plays there. And they don't really do all that much. Now, Nice to Manchester United, different proposition. But at the same time, if that was like a pilot, if that was your sort of entering essay, you know, like when you get into like those big universities and you have to do those, like, you know, an essay about yourself.
I dropped out in the first year.
If that's what that was, you'd go, oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I hear you. And that's where this conversation will get wider. That's what we're talking about. Initially, this is about, wow, somebody's come out and said, right, we want to buy it. That's a significant breakthrough. That is significant in itself. And then the sub conversation from that is everything what you just highlighted, really. What type of owner would Sir Jim Ratcliffe be? Is that the best thing for Manchester United? What are his resources? What are his plans? What's his infrastructure of football people? Do you know what I mean? What specialists does he have in terms of the football people at this level? As well as wanting the best for Man United. So I'm not writing them off. We're certainly not doing that. We're just opening up the floor to you guys as well. That's what this is about. Because this is a new time for us. You know, for a long chunk of my adult life, obviously since 2005. So I left school in 2004. So I was 16, 17 when the Glazers came into Man United up until now. So my main chunk of, you know, adult life of what I remember Manchester United to be is the Glazers. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I supported them from 90. I supported United from 95, but the chunk of when I was old enough to understand football a bit better, you know, has been the Glazers. That's all we know. And yeah, exactly, and more so you as well.
Yeah,
so,
over half my life. Do
you know what I mean? So this is a really new space for us, and I don't think us as fans even have the answers it must be that and it must be this. And maybe there are some fans who work in finance and different bits where we work in and know way more than me and you, Owen. But, you know, I just think this is a massive talking point for fans and a big kind of open forum, do you know what I mean, for fans to actually discuss this and put our opinions forward, because it's fascinating stuff, because it's something that we've been waiting for so long to even get to this bit.
Yeah,
you know, how many times have we said
the
Glazers that they just won't go? Man United's a cash cow. They're never going to sell. They keep doing this. They keep doing that. They're going to keep taking dividends. Oh, they've not taken dividends. Oh, they've actually come out and said full or partial sale. Oh, now someone's come out and said, I want to buy it. Like, this is happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's get the super chats.
But at the same time, sorry, just before you get the super chat, but at the same time, it's okay. We're at a really important point, a point we've always wanted to get to.
We've got to get it right.
Get it
100%.
Right.
Because if you get it wrong, we could be even worse. If you get it wrong, and that sounds insane to say, and that's not me bigging up the Glazers, by the way.
No,
but me saying it could get worse is not me saying, well, the Glazers aren't that bad. You know,
it's what I'm saying. It's more of, you've got an opportunity, make sure you take it. Make sure you pick. And because the problem is, the concerning thing is, the people we don't like, the people that do just care about money, they're in control of ultimately who it gets sold to. Right. And that's the concern. If any positive decision based on Manchester United is left in their hands, it doesn't tend to go well, and they've got final say on who it goes to. So let's be honest, it might not go to someone who's got the best interest of the club in mind. But that's why it's important that publicly we know a lot of their plans. So at least as fans, we can go, they're the ones it should be going to. And if it doesn't go to, you can, again, at least try and raise your voice. And the core public opinion is important too.
Yeah, 100%. There's quite a lot of super chats. It's fascinating stuff. We've got over 1,800 people watching live, which is insane. So smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Get involved in the chat. Not just, I don't mean super chats and everything. Just get involved in the chat. Have your say. Red Baron says, but oil long term should fall by the wayside due to climate change. No, so it's more preferable to be owned by INEOS. Big up to DRZ 1792, latest member of the UV Members Club. Super chat here from SK. SK says Ratcliffe with other backers would be okay, but they in the financial clout have the money to push the club. Though new FFP over time might help. I wish we could see the plan. Exactly. We're not even there yet. We can't. Exactly. You wish you could. We need to see the plan, and I'm sure more things would come out as bids go in, as they make their intentions more clear as to what they want to do with the club and stuff like that. Jordan Alford says anyone over the Glazers, but I'm skeptical of Ratcliffe a little. Is his mentality going to be right for our immediate ambitions as far as significantly backing this manager to win major trophies? There's a question that, that's a concern that Jordan has. Fair play. Red Baron says, I don't think we should be the face of oil and normalizing funds from oil into the Premier League. More so, the preference is Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Certain fans. Do you know what I mean? Things mean different things mean different things to different people. Some people are sort of against that whole money from a certain part of the world and where the money comes from. Other people are like, listen, at the end of the day, this is football. We don't really have control over that. We're seeing other clubs flex their financial muscle from that area of the world. You're seeing Chelsea with American owners flex their muscles. There's a lot. There's a lot. This is what we're talking about.
And also as well, ultimately with that, with the controversies that come with it, Pandora's box has been opened and it's difficult to shut at this point.
Yeah.
Which is important point too.
Exactly. Red Devil United says, have the Glazers been bad in spending money, or has the people working on transfers been so bad? Will Jim be so bad at spending? I think the answer to your question there is both.
It's not their money.
Yeah, exactly. They've been bad at spending money that actually isn't theirs. It's the club's. And then they've been bad at making sure that, which you shouldn't make sure, but making sure and keeping in power the people who make awful decisions just because the money was rolling into them. They didn't change them. They didn't work on it.
Exactly.
Because it makes them money. So it works both ways there, Red Devil United. Will Jim be so bad at spending? Good question. We don't know. Good question. Super chat here from SK. Interestingly, Todd Bowley and a consortium are worth 10.86 billion. And they're obviously spending an awful lot of money now at Chelsea. Nathan Joseph, big up Nathan, says no one knows what any owner would be like. We are greedy because we heard oil and want unlimited money, but we generate so much. If we could just clear debt, we could still spend 300 million just off the fans. Interesting. He's basically saying that Man United makes so much money in itself. If we just get an owner in who says, listen, we don't need to do what Chelsea and Man City do. We're way bigger clubs than them. Our revenues are way bigger than them.
That's the thing.
We need to clear our debt so that everything we are making, we can actually put back into the club and actually put into transfers. We're not going to have greedy owners just taking out and running it into the ground.
That's the thing. That I've always said that. I've always said that when it comes to FFP, people don't. Again, you have to take a step back and go. Manchester United, like pretty much consecutively, most summers have a transfer window spend of like 200+ million. This past summer, 250 million. That's without any outside investment from its ownership. That's club generated. Like no other club really that I can think of in world football can do that. That's club generated without outside investment. United can do that. If they had owners that invested their own money into the club, plus not taking money out of the club, in terms of financially, nobody should be able to compete in terms of FFP. The ironic thing, though, is that FFP is a joke. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
There's always a way around it, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
PS says Ratcliffe could also signal by this to other parties that they could be part of a future consortium. It could be Ratcliffe and others. Yeah, INEOS and one or two more. You never know exactly. Those details haven't been out there yet. But what we do know is that INEOS themselves, though, to be fair, have said that they are interested in buying it as it stands, as INEOS, really. I mean, they haven't said us as a consortium with XYZ are interested. They've said INEOS. So that would suggest that it's them. No? Would you agree with that, Owen?
What was that? I was distracted.
He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Basically, cut a long story short, PS said that, but maybe they could have a consortium like
Oh yes,
INEOS.
certainly. Well,
But
it's a
INEOS
possibility.
themselves have said they're interested, not a consort. They've said that it's just them.
No. I mean, you never know how the bidding process goes. Maybe it might become a case of, two bidders become one. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not really totally familiar how that process would work and how they'd be able to do that. So I'm not sure.
Butterbean 221 says, I'd rather have somebody that loves the club. So he would prefer someone like Jim Ratcliffe. Limania, big up Limania. I haven't seen you in the chat for a little while, unless I've been missing you. SJR, so Jim Ratcliffe is 70 years old. Hopefully we don't end up in the hands of his kids, like we ended up in the hands of Malcolm. Yeah, the Glazers. Interesting way of looking at it. Didn't think of it like that. He is an older man. What would happen should he pass it on to other people? Again, these are all things that are viable things to talk about and to consider. I think we are good. Let me just double check in the back end. We haven't missed any. Ratcliffe also. Yeah, there we are good with super chats. We have got 2,000 people watching live. How many likes do we have? We have got 338, 340 now. So please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you're just joining us, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, so Jim Ratcliffe's INEOS have formally entered the United bidding race. I'm going to go through some of the comments actually here. I don't want you guys just to think it's only going to be super chats that get read out. We want all of you guys to get involved. INEOS part-owned Mercedes F1, so they could partner with the class of 92 and their backers in the Middle East in a joint venture. I think that means, says Jonak. Hopefully the bidding begins, says Aditya. Some of our members as well, Vegeta. I want the Dubai money still. Some people say no, I want the Dubai. I want Dubai money. Fat4 says road to 150k, 100%. Lincoln Lawyer says no to the class of 92. Don't want them part of it. Marky Mark says Ratcliffe the GOAT. I want oil money, says Makish 10. And INEOS, where was that one gone? Shabir says INEOS is a global manufacturer of it's gone. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. Of petrochemicals. How do you say that? Petrochemicals. There you go.
Yes.
I was thinking petromechanics, petrochemicals, specialty chemicals, and oil products. That's what they do. Austin Baker, member of the UV Club. I'd still like to know the plan for all parties rather than no plan. I mean, that's an interesting one, Owen. Get your comments in, guys. Whether it's a super chat or not, we'll do our best to get as many of them read out, and obviously members as well. We'll get your priority chats read out as well. Do get involved in the show. How much do you think we'll know about because obviously they have to disclose their plans to the Glazers and all that. How public is it going to be? I don't think it's going to be that public unless we get insiders pushing stuff out.
Yeah, I would think unless, and again, speculation here, but I would think unless you have like Sir Jim Ratcliffe do like another interview as he had done previously, and he sort of said, this is what I would do, this is what my plan would be, etc. I mean, legally, they might not be able to. If they're actively in a takeover process, there might be only so much they can or cannot say.
Exactly.
I'm not sure. I mean,
it's a legal, formal process, isn't it?
When it says, the bit
confidentialities,
they have to sign up to see confidential financial documents. Part of that entire process might be, now you can't sort of go out publicly and say what you're doing. Plus, also, given that United is on the New York Stock Exchange, they're a publicly traded company. I'm sure there are legalities on what they can and can't say they would do for the club or wouldn't do for the club in terms of spiking share prices, etc. Because again, this is what we don't know, is a consortium, if they take over Manchester United, are they going to take the company private once again? Is it going to remain floated on the New York Stock Exchange?
It used to be a PLC,
that will be a point. Yeah. That'll be a point, again, going back to the WWE part of it. That's been discussions about that. It's a publicly traded company. Are they going to take it private once more? So I don't know. I am sure there are really certain things they can or cannot say that they would do. As fans, we would love to know the plan. As fans, we would love to know that. But I don't know. I mean, with the Chelsea
I don't think we get anything official. I think what we get is journalists and reports would say, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he is planning on knocking down Old Trafford and rebuilding a new one over there in Salford. Or, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's plan for Carrington is to redevelop it with a brand new training complex worth 300 and something million or whatever it costs to build $1 billion, let's say. I don't know what it costs for a training complex. But you know, it'll be things like that we would hear, wouldn't it? As opposed to
I
him doing
think
a
so.
sit-down interview saying,
I
"Well,
don't think so,
I want
'cause
to do this," like to camera.
yeah,
I'm
'cause
Sir
I'm
Jim
just trying to
Ratcliffe,
think
and I want to buy Manchester United.
when there was the Chelsea takeover, and again, that's slightly atypical in how that whole process was, but with the Chelsea one, we only heard that there were provisions put in there by Roman Abramovich, i.e., you're going to have to commit to spending this amount or improving this or getting a new stadium. That there were provisions put in there, but we only knew about that, as far as I can recall, through reports that were put out there. Like, you know, journalists were putting that out there. I'm not sure if that was anything put out there by the club itself or by Roman Abramovich himself or anything like that. I don't think so. And the Glazers themselves, in that initial statement, when United announced that they were exploring strategic alternatives, basically said, until a transaction happens or they feel is the appropriate time to comment, we're not going to comment on it. So United themselves, we may not hear any official statement until the deal is done, until the transaction is completed. And by all accounts, that could be several months away. So anything official from United's end, we might not hear for a long time. And any consortium or any bidder that's quite far along in the process and thinks they've got a chance, would they really want to jeopardize that in the media? Probably not, you would think.
Yeah, a little bit of interesting news. I say news, facts on Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS. Just, you know, this is for me as well. I'm looking it up as we speak, and I'm sure you guys have been as well. So in terms of Sir Jim Ratcliffe himself, and the Sunday Times rich list of 21, his personal fortune was estimated at 6.3 billion. His personal one, and the actual whole company, the revenue that they make, INEOS, 61 billion. So, you know,
there's not an issue when it comes to price. There's not
an issue in terms of are INEOS big enough? They are.
I've seen that put around before. I've seen people say, "Oh, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's only worth 6 billion." They go, "Yeah, but the transaction would cost 5 billion, 6 billion." It's like, it's not Sir Jim Ratcliffe, it's INEOS buying United. That would be the key thing.
He owns 60% of INEOS.
It would be part of INEOS's portfolio of things that they own, like you said, like Nice, United. They've got to deal with the F1 as well. They're part of on Mercedes stuff.
Exactly.
I saw a thing the other day when we watched the North London Derby. They're on the back of Spurs' seats in the dugouts.
Oh, are they?
I noticed that at the time. Yeah,
it's things like that you don't realize how much money these companies are actually worth, because they're not always in our faces. They're not our everyday brands. They're not our everyday companies that we look at. Butterbeans super chat says Sir Jim's got more than enough money, and Priest of Melanin says, Flex, this is good news. Now we can get Mbappe. Slow down. Let's get new owners first. And Cosmic says, imagine if Vinny Match buys United.
Vinny Mac.
Who's that, Owen? Who's that?
Vinny Mac.
Oh, Vince McMahon. Is that what they call him? Vinny Mac. Okay, right.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. No, he's selling off.
The guy's a maniac.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that. But get involved. Like I said, over 2,000 people watching. Let's get some more of you guys' comments read out. Look at the difference, by the way, the difference between PSG and Nice. Anyone that works towards the bright future of the club and invests nicely, says a DTR. Stratos says, Sir Jim is a disgrace and he's a cheat. And Mega Punch says, oil money is endless. And Osman says,
not endless.
INEOS, not endless, sorry. INEOS says, Oz says, INEOS has already said that they want a return in 3 years. It can't be done on our debts. With our debts, our need for stadium, training ground, players, etc.
Yeah, that was a thing. That was a report that was put out there after that initial Jim Ratcliffe thing. Actually, it might have been only a couple of months ago. Basically, there was how was it? It was when Jim Ratcliffe, he was at this like investor thing, and he was talking about that. And at the time, I think it was before the Glazer announcement, he said, "Oh, it's not going to happen," basically. And he also said that they have like a general rule of thumb of whenever they acquire any business, like not even a football club, just any business, that they like to see a return on investment in 3 years or something like that. But it's just reminded me actually that, so whoever these new owners are, we're saying that they've got to, build a new stadium probably, or at the very least renovate the one that's there, Old Trafford. So that's going to cost 1 billion to renovate, 2 billion to build a new one, training ground upgrade, possibly another billion, at least sort of 500 million, infrastructure changes and renovations too. To the point that was made there, when do you see the return on that investment? Because
you ain't seen it for ages.
Because you pay between 5 and 6 billion quid to purchase the club, I don't know if that includes wiping the debt. If it's not including wiping the debt, add that on top of
Interesting
that.
as well. How is just quickly on that before we carry on? Is it? Like, are they going to sell the club with that debt in its current form? This is Man United. Here you go. It's a club that's worth this, but it has over 600 million worth of debt. So it's all your problem. We'll sell it to you for this, and it's your problem. Or would they say, well, you need to clear that debt or give us money off
I
because
suppose
of that? I don't
it
know.
depends who it's in debt to. If it's in
Yeah.
debt, because the club isn't in debt to the Glazers, as far as I'm aware. It's
No,
the same,
exactly.
like Chelsea, they were in debt to Roman Abramovich.
To Abramovich, he needed his money
massive
back. Yeah.
loan. Yeah, he had this
Yeah.
massive loan that they kind of thought was a bit of like collateral, essentially, in case anything happened to him. And that's what.
So the club just carries it, whoever the owner is, until they pay it off.
I would think.
Really,
I would think the debt would be included in part of that buyout. So everything just they'd make sure the Glazers would make sure they're taken care of. That's ultimately what it's about. They get their money. There's no debt against them in terms of Manchester United or anything like that. They're fine. But to the point I was making there, 5 to 6 billion quid plus. Let's say it's a new stadium, 7, so that's 7 billion quid, possibly half a billion on a new training ground, something like that, 7.5. I mean, how? Well, it's not going to happen. United are not going to generate that kind of return on investment in 3 years.
No.
You know? For a long time, it's going to have to be a loss leader. And to be honest, that's what sports clubs are for a lot of people. You know, if you get into buying a sporting club for the purpose of making money, you ain't going to make it.
No, not for a bit, and not unless you do things right as well. King Tone, this one just caught my eye. How y'all doing? I'm a Man United fan from USA. I was a fan since 2012. I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm learning. Thank y'all for what you do. Listen, man, there's no categorization of fans, bro. It doesn't matter how long you've been a fan. You are one of us. You're a Man United fan. Doesn't matter whether you've been a fan for a year or 70 years or however long. It doesn't matter. So big up to you. We're all, and in terms of this, what's going on now, if you're looking at this King Tone and thinking, bloody hell, that's what I was going to say. I'm not about to come onto the internet. We're not about to come onto the internet here at United View and wax lyrical about everything must be like this and we know everything. We are very much with all of you guys in terms of, wow, this is intriguing. Here are our opinions and thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Let's just chat as Man United fans, because this is somewhere where we haven't been. I mean, it'd be interesting to get Kenny's thoughts on this. I mean, when he was here way before the Glazers, obviously were there. What was it like, back in the day?
He was more than around with the whole Rupert Murdoch, close to purchasing Manchester United as well, and that fell through. So exactly, yeah, and I guess Michael Knighton, when it looked like Michael Knighton was going to purchase United as well,
exactly,
in the early 90s, whenever that was as well.
Exactly. So he would have been part of all of that. Nihal says, Flex, from my finance class, LOL. Well, are you in school, as in like 14, 15, or finance class? Is this like A level or university, or is it an online course? I need a little bit more, Nihal. I need a little bit more. I learned that debt is deducted and the final price is calculated. So I hope that's the case. So he's saying that they take the debt off, and then whatever it is minus the debt, that's what the final price would be. But
look at us.
I don't know.
Look at us. Look at us.
What?
Look at us. We've got our calculators out going, take the final debt off.
I know. Aziz, hi Flex, met you in Qatar at Adidas HQ and gave you a little tour of the surrounding facilities on the roof. Oh yes, big up to you, bro. How you doing, man? Great to see you. Love the channel. I just hope the new owners, whoever it is, love the club like us and get us back to where we belong. Yes, I went to the Aspire complex, I think it's called, in Qatar. Honestly, mate, some of the biggest clubs in the world. Yeah, Adidas had a HQ there for the World Cup. And you'd be surprised the amount of, like, I think Real Madrid go there, send their players there for rehab, PSG. Unbelievable facilities, unbelievable. I looked at it and thought, oh my God, if Man United had something like this, do you know what I mean? Or like the area around Manchester United, like how City are building an infrastructure of stuff. I was just like, wow.
Campus, haven't they? They've got the stadium, they've got the reserve stadium behind it, they've got the Co-op Arena. And this is my point. United have to somehow find a way to catch up with that and surpass them, whilst they're actively still probably going to be building more.
100%. That really pissed me off. That Co-op Arena thing, because I didn't know they were building that. So what happened? I parked my car and I walked across. You walk across like a bridge. If you've never been to Man City, well, the side where I parked anyway. And I was walking along the bridge bit, and I was looking to the left, and I was like, "What's this thing? It says Co-op all over it. What's this?" And I started reading. This was the derby when we got smashed 6-3 this year.
Yeah.
And I went, is this? And I was looking inside because you could see like the structure of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking arena. And I was like, and before the game, I remember walking in, just act like angry. I was like, they're taking the piss. They're building the whole arena. And it was like, yeah, it's got like the brief of what it's going to be, shopping and, you know, all your best UK events and concerts and that. And Josh was there. Josh will tell you, I was vexed. I was like, no, I'm not going to say what I said, but I was like, these City guys, man, they're taking a mick.
Well, you can see what the plan would be. The plan would be something like that. And again, this is how you keep people around. So people could go to a football match. Let's say it's an evening kickoff. Let's say that evening, because these big sporting events do tend to be put on the same day. Let's say that evening there's a big boxing fight or whatever. So at the co-op, you only have to walk across. Or if you're staying local, you can just go to the same place. You keep people in there, and they make
one
even
after
more
the
money.
other. Like on the Saturday,
well, there's a concert.
At 3 o'clock. I'm saying you got Sunday at 4:30. You got Man United against Man City, and then the day before you got Ed Sheeran in there.
Yeah,
right, there you go.
Go make a weekend of it.
You're making it a big tourist attraction, literally, by building that actual tourist attraction. Insane. So as much as we hate to admit it, like Owen said, we are 10 years behind them. We are 10 years behind them with Newcastle, with the amount of money they've got and the footballing city that they are. Yeah. We cannot turn our noses up at them. Well, we already can't. Look where they are in the league. Look what they're doing.
No.
And it's only gonna keep going. Priest of Melanin says, "Do you think Ratcliffe will keep Eric?" Well, you can never say 100% they will, but I think the stupidest thing you could ever do is be an owner, walk straight in here and go, "Oh, well, I don't like any of this. I'm going to change the manager straight away."
Say that though, Fleck.
But
you say that though.
I know.
Look at Chelsea. That guy won the Champions effing League with Chelsea.
Yeah, but they were still. Although obviously in hindsight, with Potter, we're like they should have kept Tuchel, whatever. They were still doing bad.
You say that though.
They were.
You say that though. But then, when they sacked Tuchel, they said, "Yeah, we were thinking about this for a while." Though basically, they were saying we were waiting for him to fail. We were waiting for him to fail. We already knew who we wanted. So I don't know.
If Sir Jim Ratcliffe's a Man United fan like he says he is, he should be loving. I'll say no, actually. Yeah. I'm going to say no. I could be wrong. I mean, we may never get to find out. But if you're Sir Jim Ratcliffe and he's a Man United fan like he says he is, you got to be looking at what Eric Ten Hag's doing and thinking, wow, bloody hell. You know, well, who else are you going to get? And say, I don't want him, I want someone else.
If you're a United fan, you'd have loved what you saw at the weekend. You'd be like, brilliant, brilliant. 100%. But at the same time, I mean, even the Glazers are aware because it says in the article, they're hoping that the resurgence under Ten Hag actually drives up the price. So, Ten Hag's going to be a reason that partially Ratcliffe might have to spend more than he previously intended. That bloody Ten Hag, all that success. I mean, look, but at the same time, you would think if you were at least somewhat savvy, you'd say, yeah, I paid a bit more than maybe I thought I was going to if it was this time last year. But at the same time, I'm buying a winning club who's seemingly back on the ascendancy. The guy who's in charge on a day-to-day basis, running the first team, the reserves, the academy, overseeing that, he's doing better than hopefully anyone else has post Sir Alex. Keep that guy. Because it ain't easy, and we have had better or maybe more high profile managers in that have failed. You know, that weight of all of that can be quite heavy. But at the same time, it's difficult because when someone spends that amount of money on a club or an asset, they do what they want.
They do. Exactly. It's their money. Shabir says, on a serious note, Flex, is it true that you touched Haaland before the derby? I did not. I've never met Haaland in my life. So that judge wasn't me. That was just was just Eric Ten Hag's tactics, mate. That was Ten Hag judge that.
Have you ever shook Ten Hag's hand? Of all the press conferences you've been in, I'm not sure you have.
I haven't, but I was just about to lie so that I could flip the narrative. Yeah. I was going to lie.
I was going to say I've seen footage of him walking past you, and you go, all right, Eric. Yeah. There's the GIF. I posted it on my Twitter the other day. There's a United View GIF of Ten Hag giving the thumbs up at a Europa League press conference. Peek behind the curtain. That is a thumb up from Eric to Flex. That was Flex giving a thumbs up to Eric Ten Hag, and Eric Ten Hag went, "You're all right, mate. Yeah, that kind of connection. That's what that was." But you haven't made contact yet. You haven't actually made contact.
No, haven't made contact.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do
it. Lincoln Lawyer says, "Wear gloves next time at the presser." Tavislav says, "Oh my God, never do that ever."
Yeah.
Don't you ever think about it, Flexes Robert. Jesus, is a bit strong. So you saying I'm a lifelong Man United fan and I get the chance to meet our savior, Eric. I can't even take a picture and do what I do with
You can take a picture. You can take a picture.
but like
no
not with my
contact.
arm around him. Or
No
what if Eric puts his arm around me? Do I say no, Eric? Don't do that because the
Yeah.
UV community is going to say
It's your powers. It's up to you to explain the situation. I'm not sure Eric will. Maybe he will. Maybe you'll just say, Eric, judge. You'll go, no, it's clear. It's clear.
Is that what you lot said? Look at the community. Oh my god. Priest Menace says, please flex, never touch Ten Hag unless it's presence. Unless it's presence. As in what? What do you mean? Unless it's presence? Unless I give him a present or something? I don't know.
The relationship, again, the thumbs up. I think that's good enough. No problem. Keep it as is.
Splashnet says, you say, don't touch me, Eric. I have judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain.
Say, Eric, sorry. No. I've got judge.
Get out a card. Get out a card. Like one of those sort of medical cards. Just get it out and say, this is
judge.
This is
huh? Judge.
Exactly.
Huh? What?
Wear like a bracelet or something like that. And go, this is just what it is. Sorry.
Judge, nah, man. I love Eric. You can't tell me if I get the chance. If any of you lot, if you got to meet Eric, you wouldn't do that. Why should I?
Show up in a radiation suit or something like that.
Oh, mate. Levin says, coming to Old Trafford for the first time, second leg of Barcelona. Can't wait to see the Theatre of Dreams and hopefully see you guys there. Wow. What a first game to come to, bro.
Brilliant.
Wow. That you've done well to get yourself a ticket for that. I tell you what, they are like absolute gold dust. I like this one actually. Mark Riley says, Flex, when are you gonna take Owen to a game and get KG to do the match view without Owen?
Well, I can only hope. One day, KG, he's currently not even in the country right now. No. He has this very clever situation of whenever there's a big game, he's on holiday or something like that. He's not in the country. Was he in the country? He was in the country last year for Arsenal at the Emirates, but he couldn't make that one because he was busy. And he's not in the country this year. Disgrace cheats.
Disgrace is a cheat. It wasn't a present. It was pre-season.
Pre-season.
Gotcha. Pre-season. So I'm allowed to do it in pre-season, they're saying. So I need to wait till America next year.
I don't know with that.
That's where they're going. Well, you're saying never. Piss off, mate. If we've won a league or won something amazing like that, when I see him, I'm picking him up.
Piss off. I just look in pre-season. It's a bit fierce. If we do well this season in pre-season, do what you want. We've already got the trophies, no problem. But if
but before that,
at the same time, if we say win like the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup or something like that, and we got top four, and you go, I tell you what, next season that is the one striker. Then I would say maybe keep your distance again. Maybe wait another year or something like that.
I ain't allowed to do anything on my own channel. I'm not.
Yeah.
Lux Hill with a super chat says, it must be nice to be recognized by Eric Ten Hag. It is nice. It's humbling that he recognizes us. And you can tell by the answers that he gives us when we're in there. He enjoys hearing from us, man. And it's good for all fans and fan channels. And, the fact that we can get closer to Eric and he knows he
takes the time to recognize a lot of people, doesn't he? I think he genuinely. I mean, go back to his first press conference. He didn't have to, but he took the time to go around shaking everyone's hand, introducing himself like they need to know who he is. I'm Eric. Oh,
yeah.
Who are you? You know what I mean? So I think he appreciates that personal touch, doesn't he? Definitely.
Yeah, he does. So there you have it. Sir Jim Ratcliffe formally enters the United bidding race. Steve says, has a super chat here. Agree with Owen. Strategy is most important. As far as Middle East owners, they are trying to diversify away from oil and have every reason to show the world they can succeed in football ownership. Yeah, they're that side of the world is trying to build something, aren't they? You saw with the World Cup.
I mean, that's why where the rumors of Dubai came from, because they were really one of the only sort of states not to. Have their own football club, like you said, Qatar, PSG, Saudi Arabia, Newcastle, you've Abu Dhabi, got Manchester City as well. So, and in fairness, you would say for all of them, they know how to run football clubs. Certainly, I mean, their track record is very good. Whether or not that will come into Manchester United, I don't know. As we said earlier on, I think the reaction to this should be one of excitement, because it means that the process is officially starting and people are putting their names out there and putting their names down and saying we're in the process. But also, if INEOS and Sir Jim Ratcliffe isn't your preferred option, which is 45% of the poll, over 2,000 votes, by the way, over 2,000 votes, only 500 likes. That's a disgrace. That's a cheat.
Come on, guys.
It's just a click. It's just a click. It's the same process. Exactly the same process.
How does that happen? How do you get to? That means they just don't like us then.
Same process.
It must mean that. Yeah. Come on, guys. We could do that.
Same
But yeah,
process.
Karen. Yeah.
Yeah, if INEOS into Jim Ratcliffe isn't your preferred option, that doesn't mean they're the only option. When an asset, when an organization like Manchester United becomes available, which is a very, 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 very rare instance, lots of people will be interested, and I'm sure we'll also enter that process. Again, this doesn't even mean bids have been placed as of right now. It's just we're entering the process. We want to see the financials. We want to do our due diligence. We're open to putting a bid in if everything is correct, and I'm sure a lot of other people will be as well.
Priest of Melanin says INEOS bid for INEOS bid for Mbappe in the summer. Flex, book it. Listen, I'm not. We don't know what's going to happen. As far as Priest of Melanin is concerned, they're saying he's our owner, mate. This is what's happening. We're owned by INEOS. You know what I'm saying? Do smash a like on the video. I would have thought we could have got to 1,000 likes with over 2,000 people watching. I thought we could have got to that whilst live. It wasn't to be. It wasn't to be, but
Engrossed.
Please, on the way out, exactly, engrossed in the conversation. What a fascinating Tuesday evening. It always happens when you least expect it, isn't it? It always, just chilling, and you think, oh, okay, a little bit of day working from home, kind of whatever. Bang.
Do you know what I was doing?
Flexing KG show about to, what was you doing? Having dinner?
I was cooking my dinner.
Yeah. What you making? What you got?
I was cooking some chicken, some rice.
Yeah.
I was,
okay.
I was, New Year, new me. I was trying to do that, and then I see this.
Yeah. Like Makish says, love a cheeky bit of breaking news. Exactly. Fantastic show, boy, says Cotty as well. And hit the like button, says All Elite. Yeah, listen, a show that we didn't expect to do. To inform you guys, you will get your Flexing KG show. We've just had to move it because of this. As KG is in a different country, he's gone. He's a disgrace, he's a cheat. We pre-recorded it on Sunday. So when you do watch that, bear that in mind. We speak about Palace coming up. We speak about Arsenal coming up. And he said some interesting things. So that will be coming out at 9 p.m. You can get your Flex and KG show. It was supposed to be at 6 p.m. But as you can see here right now, if you are just joining us and you don't know what the hell is going on, Jim Ratcliffe formally enters United bidding race. So we had to get straight in and react to that news. And the community agree, hence why there's over 2,000 people been watching this stream, which is absolutely insane for United View. And we hit 130,000 followers, subscribers earlier today, which you guys made possible as well. So big up to everyone on the morning show who
and
made
plenty
that
on tap, by the way, for tomorrow. You've got the Transfer View live, 9 a.m. in the studio. Then also you've got, what is it, Flex? A match day.
We've got a match day experience, yeah. I'll be down there at Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, hoping the lads get 3 points. Weghorst is in the squad. I saw him. He was in the list of travelling down. Interesting to see some of Eric Ten Hag's comments on him, actually, saying I'll have to see about starting him. It wasn't like, no, he's not ready. And it was, yeah, I've got decisions to make. We'll see. So there's a strong chance he could start. It'd be really exciting if he does. Don't touch the post. I'm just going to the game. I'm just going to the game.
And if you want to whet your appetite for the game, you can watch the preview. That also went up today. I've just saw him in the chat. Eagle-eyed Football's in the chat. Yes, shout out Rich was on it. Fantastic 100%.
Job. Exactly. Make sure you check out his channel. And we'll catch up with Rich. He's going to be at the game. We'll catch up with him after the game as well and get the opposition view. Hopefully he's not too happy with 3 points and talking about how they beat us. Hopefully it's the other way around. Big up Rich. It's all love, but we need to win the game. You know what I mean? So do you, as do you. So yes, there you go, guys. Wicked show. Smash the like on the video. And Owen will be with you guys tomorrow morning as well. Fresh as a daisy, 9 a.m. Transfer View show. And probably with some more fallout to this. Not fresh as daisy, but fresh. He'll be there. He'll be there. Probably, yeah. And probably with more fallout from what's happened today. We'll keep an eye on that and bring it to you guys ASAP in the morning. We're out of here, guys. Peace.